Hello and welcome back to Woodworking Monetized, where woodworking doesn't have to be another expensive hobby. This is the tips video number 6. This is the companion video to episode 16, where I batch out 12 home plate American flags. If that video is of no interest to you, then you will be disappointed by this video. And to be honest, you might be disappointed by this video anyways. But I give you 5 tips prior to batching out the home plate American flags. Tip number 1, do not tape over the stars. The stars, at least that I used, were oil, and when I pulled off the tape when I was cutting this line, it pulled off some of the paint as well. Now granted, I could have waited a little bit longer maybe and it would have set a little bit more, but I still found that it did pull off some of the paint as well, so I had to do some doctoring, as you see in my video as well. Tip number 2, since I did not make the frame like Max F did on his channel, you see the supports. So my tip for you is to burn the side of the supports, because it will be on the wall, or if you do place it on the wall, you're going to want to see, you'll see this as being somewhat burned, and you'll want to see this piece as well. In addition, you might even see this bottom portion that is not covered by this, so you want to burn at least some portion of that, not all the way up. And make sure you do it on both sides. That is tip number 2. Tip number 3, be wary of where you burn. Specifically, be careful when burning around the oil-based stars, because they do have a tendency to bubble up when compared to the flag stripes. So make sure you're okay with that. I mean, sometimes it's okay to have some bubbling. I don't have any in this one. When it's close to a stripe that you have burned quite a bit, and you can kind of sense that it has that burning vibe to it. But just be careful when burning. It shows a little bit differently on the stripes when compared to the stars. Tip number 4, use brush-on polyacrylic as your finish, as opposed to the spray. As easy as a spray sounds, you get a lot less in here versus using a pint container of brush-on poly. It goes on a lot smoother, and you don't risk this clotting if you forget to spray it upside down and do that thing, and it reduces the risk of it splotching and giving you little dots as well. So err on the side of this, and you get so much more. This is about $10 or a little bit more, and this is under $20, and you get unlimited supply when compared to this one. So brush on when you can. Tip number 5 comes with the structure piece. So I used nails for these and glue, but be willing to use some screws where any of these support pieces tend to bow. So just be aware of that the nails might not hold, especially if it's working against some sort of bow. So on this one, I did find a couple spots where I decided to add a few screws there. You can't really see, but be willing and have some screws available to you for that. I have a bonus. This is tip number 6. When looking at all the boards you have prior to doing anything, use your absolute best pieces of wood from your boards that you bought for the union. It helps with the spray, so you can tell on this one, and you obviously want to sand them down, but even still, make sure you allow for the 12 or 13 or however many you're going to make, the best parts of every board for your union. That will help when spraying on the stars on top of the already stained union. Those are my 6 tips, or 5 tips plus 1 bonus if you watched. I appreciate you sticking with me on this. Let me know if you decide to batch any of these out and what other mistakes or tips or things to think about as well. You can add those in the comments below. I am more than happy to listen to those and take them into consideration for any future flags that I make, including this one or episodes 11. Is it 11? That video where I batch out the American flags. All right. Thank you so much for your patience and your continued support, and we'll see you on the next one.